In other news, the Labor Department also revealed this morning that initial weekly jobless claims came in around 263,000, marking the highest level for initial claims since October 23rd, 2021. Economists had anticipated 234,000 claims. Jay Woods, Chief Market Strategist at Freedom Capital Markets, joins me now. Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's good to be here.
All right, so what do you make of this CPI data?
Yeah, there are a couple things. The CPI data came in line with expectations. No surprises there. And following the PPI numbers yesterday, this is exactly what the market needed, what the Fed needed as they focus more on the jobs numbers, which, as you saw in the jobless claims numbers, continue to surprise us in a negative fashion, meaning that not only is a rate cut on the table for this meeting next week, but now we're going to debate whether it's 25 or 50. I still think it'll be 25, but that will then set Jerome Powell up. We cut 25 basis points. We're concerned about a labor market that is, seeing an uptick in unemployment and inflation that remains sticky. It's not the trend we want to see, but given all the tariff concerns, given everything that we thought would drive inflation up, we're not seeing it in the numbers. So we focus on the job side of things. We get 25 basis points, and then we watch two things after the Fed meeting. That dot plot. That dot plot comes out quarterly, and what we're going to see, it's the last dot plot of the year. So they're going to tell us what their year-end target is. So we're going to know if we're going to get one or two more cuts because it's telegraphed right to us. And then what the language is. Are we going to go another 25 at the two remaining meetings? Is there more concern about unemployment because those BLS revisions did scare a lot of people? So this will be a very fascinating meeting. And then traders, what we're watching, yields in the 10-year. That 10-year yield now is just above 4%. If it ticks below 4%, psychologically, we love round numbers, it goes below until it gets a 3 handle. That could cause a nice leg up in this market. So we have a lot of things that are concerning, but we now will be fighting those concerns, and that should be favorable for market conditions going forward.
What more should we know about this jobs number, 263,000 jobless claims?
Yeah, that is a surprise. 250 is always the magic number, or the whisper number, if you will. I'm the whisperer in this case, which is funny. But we got above 250 for the first time. It was the largest number since 2021. Is this a one-off? I haven't done a deep dive in the numbers. I was preparing to talk to you. So once I get done this, we'll look at what exactly caused it. Where was the pocket that saw that number spike unexpectedly? But consistently, jobless claims has been the one number that has been relatively stable. This raised a lot of eyebrows, and we'll see if it's a one-off because we get that number every Thursday at 8:30. We'll see what next week brings. But yeah, it's not what we wanted to see on the jobless front, but it's just more ammunition for the Fed to cut at least 25 points going into next week.
And Jay, I want to acknowledge today is 9/11.
Yeah.
It's a really tough day for a lot of us here in New York City. I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Queens. I was here that day. Yep. Do you want to share anything more about your experience? You were here at the stock exchange.
Yeah, I was here. I was the market maker for American Airlines that day, and that was crazy. I was not the market maker when we reopened. My boss, thank God, took over the stock for me. I was still a junior. I was going to handle it, but that's a day that really brought us together for all the wrong reasons. And when I think of that day, I just remember, I remember every second of that day very vividly. I don't know why that is, but I remember everyone down here, and we have an unbreakable, unspeakable bond that unites us. So it's something we will never forget. And, 24 years later, that's astounding because you look at it like it was yesterday. We had a nice blue sky today, and every time I see that perfect blue sky, I think back to that day. But there was nothing like this community here, and every one of us has our own story. Where we were when the first plane hit, when the second plane hit, when we heard about it, how we got home, were we in the cloud, not in the cloud, were we on a boat, or did we run across the Brooklyn Bridge? Everyone has a story, and every year I bump into somebody and hear a new one, and it just stops you in your tracks, and it just brings you back to a point. And then what it did was it set up the most unifying and the most patriotic day of my life, not my career, my life, was September 17th, 2001, when we reopened. People don't realize the New York Stock Exchange was the focal point. We didn't know what we were going to do. People weren't going back to work. Sports were canceled. Broadway canceled. No late night comedy shows. We were the first people to open. And when we rang that bell, that podium I wish we had a picture of it. We'll show it on the 17th, I hope. It was people from both sides of the political aisle hugging up on that podium. It brought us together like nothing ever has, and I don't want to live through something like that again, but to be in this building, the people that were here that day, it was the most patriotic, bone-chilling event that I've ever been a part of. And we just went to work that day. We weren't heroes. We just went to work. But we reopened and we showed that America was knocked down, but we came back. So to me, I vividly remember that day and the tragedy that happened. And now is the time to reflect on that. But it was also a day that brought us together and showed that, you know, this community here was the focal point, and we came together like no one ever has. And to reopen as quickly as we did, to get everyone back in the building, a day as a market maker, you're going to lose a lot of money because, you know, the market was down 6.5% that day, nothing but selling. A little relief rally, but we're hugging people. It was just, it was something you'll never forget.
Anything else like that stands out to you about that day and our final few minutes together?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were so close to it being a few blocks away, but I feel like I was miles away. I just remember the two lives we lost here, Sutcliffe and Sullivan, brokers that we all knew well, two of them both in my crowd regularly, that weren't lucky enough to make it home that day. They had young families. To the people, we all have, you know, we all went to several funerals. We all had people that we remember that day that lost people, and it was just, it's awful. Yeah.
And I think they're actually doing a
clap on yeah.
right now when somebody, a member of the military, walks onto the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. There's a clap on.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to video of that right now. Jay, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate it.
These moments are what makes this place special. There aren't as many of us as there once were. You know, 5,000 people, you know, technology, the world continues to evolve, but this place still is a very special place, and I love the fact that we can still celebrate and remember days like today.
Jay Woods, thank you so much for joining us.